it's a big show.
Welcome to the Fade Route
It's a big bad show tonight.
with DNZ.
Yeah, it's a big show.
Here are your hosts,
Cracking up, telling them lies.
DNZ. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Fade Route with DNZ. I am Z, and we got a great show for you. We're talking about the Braves-Mets series that was. Aaron Rodgers use of a psychoactive drink and how it's not a violation of the NFL's drug policy. And we're ordering up the NFC North. But we begin with the career of Serena Williams. Tennis legend Serena Williams penned an article in Vogue saying that she's stepping away from the game of tennis to focus on having a family. You know, she has one child and she would like to have another. And her daughter clearly wants to be a big sister in no uncertain terms. Quote from the article, she says, "I want to be a big sister." You can't be more definitive than that. She does not want to be a sister to a boy rather. She wants to be a sister to a girl. So good for you. Like, that's great, Olympia Williams, fantastic. But the article brings up something very interesting that, you know, like other female athletes, Serena Williams has to make a choice. And I don't necessarily think it's a fair choice, but is one that she has to do because of biology. You know, there's a choice between tennis, the sport she loves, clearly the sport she, you know, has plied her craft to since she was a child, you know, with the help of her dad and her big sister Venus. And then there's the family life. And they're mutually exclusive because one will cost time away from the other. And it's a forced choice for sure, but, you know, it's one that creates a little bit of a double standard because in the article, she clearly points out something that is very true. If it was a scenario like Tom Brady has the luxury to have his child and go immediately back to work after maybe like a 2-week paternity leave or something like that. Whereas Serena Williams has to have the child, nurse the child, recover from the birth, get physically, you know, accustomed, physically acclimated back in shape so she can play. And it's a different scenario altogether. And she is the greatest in her sport, and Tom Brady is the greatest in his sport. And I understand where, you know, she's drawing that comparison. And it is more physically demanding on a woman than it is a man because men don't give birth. So I completely understand where she's coming from. But I also understand her desire to want to step away from the game for a while to kind of embrace her family and grow it and kind of take it from there. She is a legend. She is, without a doubt, a transcendent player in her sport and an inspiration to many girls, not just women of color, but any female athlete, much in the same way, you know, many of the World Cup soccer players, your Megan Rapinos, your Mia Hamms, your Brandi Chastains, they were inspiration for a previous generation and a current generation. She too, Serena Williams too, is an inspiration to a generation of girls. Not only sending the message that she can compete at a top level, but she can have a family, she can be a dominant athlete, and she can do it on her terms. So congratulations, Serena, and best of luck to you as you take your much needed step away. And, you know, we hope and we wish that you get what you want and that your family grows and it's happy and healthy and you are happy and healthy as well. And here he is. I've known this guy since our days on Carousel Shoes, flight crew through and through, the last QB in St. John's history. What's up, D? How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's going great. you were so excited to start the show with Serena Williams. Yeah, I mean, to me, it is what it is. I mean, we have the WNBA. Those women, they usually take a year off to have a kid, and they come back to play in basketball. Serena got her family started, I think, a little later in life. She's going to be 40 this year, or maybe even 41. So yeah, she'll be 41 this year. So I mean, she had her time. For me, I've never really been a big fan of hers. She always came off to me as arrogant. She seemed to be not humbled by defeat. In the past, she would always talk about injuries, refs, or weather to kind of cite why she lost to somebody. And she's a dominant player. I mean, she's probably the best women's tennis player of our generation. You see her play people, and sometimes she's just overpowering and just dominates. And then and to her credits, when as she got older, she wasn't able to keep up with some of the players she was playing, and her body started to betray her. But she's retiring from tennis. I mean, I don't want to hear this nonsense that she's focusing on a family. It's not like you've gotten to the age where you can no longer compete at a high level. Tennis, and if you ask anybody, tennis is a young women's game. I mean, usually when you get past a certain age, you really just can't compete with the younger kids. I mean, most of these women tennis players are starting at like 15, 16, 17 years old. And she's inspired so many people to play the game. And, Will Smith did the movie about her father. I mean, her and Venus are legends. But, it's like when I retire, I'm not going to say, well, I'm going to go spend time focusing on drinking and being on the beach. No, I'm going to say I'm retiring. Like, I'm finished with my work. I'm finished what I was doing. But, like I said, I think I'm looking forward to the future of women's tennis. I mean, most of the time when she shows up on a court, you think she's going to dominate. You think she's going to win. And now there's an opening. Osaka, she's had trouble with the press, and there's just this opening for a new era of women's tennis that could be taking place.
Well, definitely. I mean, there's always going to be someone next in line, and that's just the way sports is. So, like, the chair will not be empty long when it comes to that. But what do you think about her, the iteration of a double standard? Like if she was Tom Brady, she'd be looked at in like a different light because she'd be able to recover quickly and she'd be back on the court faster and she would be able to assert her dominance even more. What are your thoughts on that kind of scenario?
I just don't know. I mean, even Tom, look at the lengths he goes through to keep his body in shape and keep himself playing at 43, 44. It is different for women because women do give birth to the children, and it does take them a longer time to recover, especially if they're having a cesarean section. So she has a point in that retrospect. But I think men face different challenges, and I think Tom is in a situation where his wife is also rich, so the wife is able to Giselle was able to spend time with the children after they were born. But for Tom, he probably had to get back out there and work and get back out there and compete. And I know in his documentary he talked about how he missed a lot of time raising his older son because the wife was in Los Angeles and he was playing for the Patriots, so he really only got to see his son in the off season. So that was, there's a different effect there, right? There's a different psychosis going on where you feel almost like, am I being selfish? Am I devoting too much time to the game and not enough time to my children? And then you get other players like Derek Jeter, who didn't start his family till later in life. Steve Young's children have never seen Steve Young play football. Mm. He married his wife later on in life, and they had children later on in life. So, there's it could be looked at in a multitude of ways. Definitely.
And as far as legacy goes, where does she stand? Where does Serena Williams stand? You have Margaret Court, you have Martina Navratilova, you have Chris Everett. Like, where is she in the pantheon?
Yeah, it's hard for me to speculate where she is in the pantheon, but I can say she's the greatest women's player of my generation. I single-handedly have watched her dominate some of the best players in the world. And I don't know if the women athletes or the women tennis players before her dominated the way she dominated. I mean, I think she had a record of 186 consecutive weeks at number one or something like that, or something crazy like that. Like that's insane, you know. So, and I think 319 weeks in total at number one. I mean, she is a force to be reckoned with. She's dominant, and yeah, to me, she's the best all time that I've seen.
Yeah, we've never seen a force as dominant as Serena in singles and the Williams sisters in doubles. You know, that's the thing. Like they are a force. The Williams sisters, Serena as well as Venus, but particularly we're talking about Serena here. Serena is a dominant force, and you know, I would say that her stature is very well set in women's sports history, and I think that she's definitely going to, you know, there's always going to be someone to come along, but she's the greatest of a generation. I agree. And, you know, we'll see, you know, you're looking at other female tennis players. You're also looking at other female tennis players of color, right? You're looking at Naomi Osaka. You're looking at Coco Gauff. You're looking at a multitude of players who can ascend while Serena's away. And when Serena comes back, are they going to be able to hold her off? I would definitely, you know, Shaq is, you know, I attribute the quote to him, 38 and 28, bro. But, you know, when Serena comes back, she might be 42, 43, you know, 43 and 20, and 43 and 33. But, you know, the other athletes need to make hay while the sun is shining. But Serena Williams will be back, and we will hear from her again.
You can't help but smile when you see a balloon. The simplest occasion is a party. Westchester Pop Stars, located in New Rochelle, New York, offers balloon styling and decor for all life's events. Birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, showers, school and corporate events, store openings, or just because. Westchester Pop Stars takes balloons and shapes them into works of art, creating decorative installations for your special occasions. No event is too big or too small, and their custom personalization service is top-notch. Westchester Pop Stars is a private studio, quickly expanding. In-person consultation is by appointment only. Send an email to westchesterpopstars@gmail.com for more information or to schedule an appointment. No need to hire an event stylist. All you need is balloons. Currently servicing Westchester, Putnam, New York City, and Connecticut. To find Westchester Pop Stars, search for them on Instagram, Facebook, or Google.
Now, I'm away on vacation, coming to you live from the Mariner Inn in LBI. I needed a break. After that series between the Mets and the Braves. That was an absolute emotional roller coaster for me, mostly because of the fact that I never thought, with the exception of one game, I never thought that it was going to be over until the final act. And that's how you want baseball, right? You want the nail biter. You want the emotional roller coaster. The Mets took 4 out of 5 from your Braves. It was definitely sweaty. Like, there was nothing comfortable about it at all. As the resident Braves fan here, how are you feeling right now? I'm checking in with you. How you doing?
I love how you plugged the Mariner in. Did they give you a polo for that?
I might just get an extra set of towels, but we'll go with that.
So how did I feel? I mean, I was uninspired. That's the word I came up with. We couldn't beat DeGrom. We couldn't beat Scherzer. We're gonna have to beat those guys at least once if we meet the Mets in the playoffs. You know, you're probably gonna have to beat one of them twice. So that's where I was. I liked how we beat Walker, or Walker kind of beat himself, and we touched up the bullpen, which I thought was important. You know, I thought Showalter bringing in Diaz and making him pitch 2 innings was a great move by him, because he wanted to show, hey, I could do this, and he could do this. We could do this if we wanted to. I think we were outcoached. I mean, Buck is just, I underestimated how good of a coach he is. He really just knows his team, knows his players. So he's got them playing for him. But we need to pitch better. I mean, Fried looked like fried chicken.
Now on the IL with a concussion.
And then we have Strider talking shit after a loss. Like, dude, it's not a good look at all. Be a humble loser. They beat us. So yeah, I mean, I felt Riley got some good rips. He wasn't afraid of Scherzer, and he wasn't afraid of DeGrom. I thought that was great. Like, he looked like a ball player against them. We needed that. They tested Acuna's arm, and they were not afraid of it, and he didn't deliver. He had good at bats though. He had a good series, I felt. You know, he put a charge into a couple, and he scored runs. He had RBIs, and I think he's going to be ready next time he faces some of those other members of the bullpen. I think they showed Acuna a lot, and he's not going to forget about it.
No, definitely. And it was a learning curve. It definitely was a learning curve. And we're going to see. Like, this is not over. Not over by any sense of the imagination, because August 15th, this coming Monday, the series starts, right? Round 2 starts in Truist Park. Now, the Braves did touch up Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker had his worst outing of the year. They got to the bullpen several times. Adam Ottavino, another inherited runner, comes around to score. Seth Lugo was up and down in the series. But the only comfortable bullpen arm that you have, if you're a Met fan, is Edwin Diaz. And the rotation is not there where they're going 8 and then you're handing it off to Diaz in the 9th. And Diaz can't go 6 outs routinely. You know, he's not Goose Gossage. That game isn't there anymore. It's just not set up for that anymore. But kudos to Tyler Naquin having a big series. You know, McNeil did a great job. Nimmo, Alonso, the regular contributors for the Mets were there. Luis Guillorme, again, he's in the lineup. He's going through a little bit of a rough patch right now. I'm still not sold on why he is in over Eduardo Escobar.
Solid defensive plays though in the series.
Solid defensive plays. Absolutely, I'm with you on that. But you need to provide a little bit with a stick. Now, he's been there most of the year. This might just be a blip on the radar screen. And Eduardo Escobar is, they're in a strict platoon right now. It appears that they're going to be in a platoon. So that's the way they're going to go. And, I see that that's the way this has been structured. And as of right now, kudos to Billy Epler, because the big additions were DeGrom, Trevor May, and James McCann. So, say what you will about James McCann. But May has been up and down. He's got to hit his stride. DeGrom had a no-hitter going into the 6th inning. So, DeGrom is hitting his stride. I'm still not sold on him routinely throwing 102 miles an hour. I think that's bad for his arm long-term. I'm with you on that. If he can dial it back a little bit and do what Verlander does, where he's, he can reach for it when you need it. You don't need to be consistently there. I think that's more of a Jeremy Hefner thing, that he needs to go speak with Jake DeGrom and just like, dude, ease off the gas a little bit. It'll be there when you need it. Just, do it then. But the bullpen definitely leaves, a lot to be desired. They needed a lefty. Joely Rodriguez got the job done, but they needed another lefty. They were looking at Andrew Chafin from the Tigers. Nothing materialized there. The bullpen, Michael Givens settled in a little bit after his rocky first outing, but it's uninspiring to say the least. The Mets are going to have to get length from their starters. They're going to have to get key, timely, clutch hitting like they've been getting. they've been murdering the ball as of late. And granted, it was the Cincinnati Reds, who felt their wrath this go around. They're now at a 6-game winning streak. But you play who's on your schedule and you beat who's on your schedule. As of right now, I'm excited. And this is going to be, a well-contested race as we go through. And the Phillies aren't going anywhere either. Like, the Phillies are sticking with them, and they're going to be 3 teams in the National League East representing in the playoffs. Do you love brownies? Of course you love brownies. But you know what's better than a brownie? A delicious, handcrafted, gourmet brownie delivered right to your doorstep. That's what our guys at Sweet Life Brownie Co. offer. Chef Tommy D and the crew offer a dozen delicious delights that you will crave, from the classic OB to Dutch apple to campfire s'mores and many more. Check out their website, sweetlifebrownieco.com, for their Friday brownie drops. At noon, their site goes live and you see what they're making. Since you're there, become a site member and earn points. You earn 50 points just by signing up. Make sure you follow them on Instagram and Facebook too, at sweetlifebrownie_co, for the latest updates and their latest releases and creations. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com. Give them a call, 845-641-3043, and tell them D&Z sent you. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com, 845-641-3043. Sweet Life Brownie Co., because there's always room for a brownie.
For sure. And, sticking with the cream of the crop in baseball, the Dodgers asserted their dominance over the darling Padres with a 3-game sweep, outscoring the Fathers 20-4 in the 3 games. Star shortstop Fernando Tatis Jr. is out on a rehab assignment, but is still ways away. Will Tatis' addition be enough to beat the Dodgers come playoff time?
In short, no. I don't believe in the construction of this team. I don't think that they are in a good spot, in a good enough spot to beat the Dodgers, who have been there before and who have handled the moment before. They've got a pelt on the wall. Please tell me what the San Diego Padres have done besides assemble a really good team on paper. You don't win on paper. And, Juan Soto is already writing checks that he can't cash, because he mentioned, good luck to everybody. Good luck to the pitchers who have to face us. Well, outscored 20-4.
Look at the scoreboard, Buddha. I'm doing fine.
Look at the scoreboard. We are doing A-OK, sir. Now granted, they had the 11 most runs in the National League. 505, solid. On-base percentage is solid. Slugging is they definitely need more. Their batting average is but they need more out of their pitching. They have all the names, right? You have Darvish and Snell and Clevenger. You go down the line. They just added Josh Hader, who blew a save. The pitching needs to improve. The pitching desperately needs to improve. And the Dodgers have done enough that they've built up enough of a lead. The Padres are 16 games back.
Jeez.
So, yeah. The Dodgers, Freddie Freeman is killing it. Mookie's killing it. Trey Turner's killing it. They've scored the second most runs. They're not going anywhere. So the Padres need to outpitch, because the Dodgers offense is just going to take it to you. And frankly, the division's a wrap. You're just playing for the playoffs.
Yeah, the second wild card, no less. Yeah, I'm with you too. I mean, I don't really think so. The Dodgers are the class of the National League. They're like the 1998 or 1999 Yankees. They really remind me of what the Yankees were in the 90s. We went out and bought everybody. We have more money than you. That's the kind of attitude they have. And they have all the talent. At the moment, the Padres seem like a collection of stars and talent. They don't seem to be like a baseball team, right? They might turn it on at some point, but next year will be better for them. They need to gel a little bit. They need to hang out, and they need to, put their personal egos aside. I mean, they talked to Manny Machado, and he's clearly oblivious to how important the last 3 games were. And then, you have another guy, Tatis Jr., who's off riding motorcycles, not understanding like his value to the team this year.
You remember the state? You remember the statement, right? When they were asking about the motorcycle accident, they put him on the IL. He said, "Which
time? Yeah, which one? Yeah." And then you have the new guy coming over. He hasn't said the right thing since he's got there. So, I think their manager's got his work cut out for him, and they got to become more of a team. They got to gel. But how about Tatis Jr. really just missing the entire season? I mean, when is this? August 11th? This guy was supposed to be back around the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. And, at some, I thought we were going to get to see him. And now when he comes back, he's going to have to get in shape. And then, he's just going to get hurt, right? He's going to get hurt again.
Yeah. Now, I threw this out on trade deadline day. I threw this out on Twitter at FadeRouteDNZ. When the Juan Soto thing went down, in order to match up salaries, I put out a tweet that said, the only way you're doing this is if you're doing Soto for Tatis straight up, to balance out the money and to balance out the age, because that would have been a perfect deal for Mike Rizzo. You want a rebuilding team? There's your superstar. Like, that's the guy. You're throwing Tatis into the mix with Soto and Machado and, guys that need to have their slice of humble pie, and Tatis, who clearly needs to have his slice of humble pie. It's not a good mix. Like, there's a lot of
personalities in that.
There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of ego. A lot of ego. And Bob Melvin, this is the quote-unquote most talented team he's ever coached. He's taken less and made more out of it. So
it's the opposite of everything he's had to deal with, right, up until this point.
Yeah, and I don't think that Tatis, I don't think that one man makes a team. I don't think that in Major League Baseball. So Tatis can be good for a spark, but he's not a 16-game spark, because the Dodgers are still way ahead, and the Dodgers are way better, and the Dodgers are a confident bunch, and yeah, like Tatis, like you said, he still needs to round out into baseball shape. So what's he going to be? And there's no guarantee he's going to get hurt again. There's no guarantee. Meanwhile, speaking of guarantees, we're guaranteed that the Yankees season is going a little roller coastery right now. The Yankees broke their 5-game losing streak. They beat the Mariners 9-4 after Aaron Boone called a team meeting. Then they promptly lost again. So is this a blip on the radar screen, or is this cause for concern?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, the Yankees lineup is set now, right? I mean, they've got Benintendi. They're going to have Bader coming back. Like, the issue for the Yankees is the bullpen and Garrett Cole. And I don't think either can be trusted. You just don't know. When the Yankees call to the bullpen, it's a roll of the dice of who's coming in, and it's another roll of the dice in what the outcome's going to be. You don't know who they're going to call on in big situations, and that's a problem. You have no one out there you can rely on. I mean, they're 2-8 in their last 10, so they're going to make the playoffs, but how far they go, that's TBD.
The Yankees are in no danger of missing the playoffs. Like, I'm in agreement with you on that. The Yankees are in no danger of dropping to the second wild card or, anywhere of that nature. Because if you look at that division, Toronto's 10 games back, Tampa Bay's 12, Baltimore's 12, the Red Sox are 17. The Yankees are in good shape. The Yankees are fine right now. Aaron Judge is the Triple Crown leader on the team. So, he's a stud. We can say that with, all degree of certainty. On-base percentage, they're the third highest. They have the second highest slugging percentage. They've scored the most runs. Batting averages but batting averages always end with the Yankees because they're trying to jack the ball out of the park. This has become an all-or-nothing team. And they've gone and addressed that with bringing in guys like Benintendi and, DJ LeMahieu's playing more. You have, Scott. You bring in the bullpen. The bullpen is definitely an issue. But if the starters aren't going to give you length, then that bullpen's going to get taxed. And I understand that Michael King is out. Michael King was an X factor. Chad Green is out. Chad Green has carried the bullpen for a number of years. Aroldis Chapman has slipped back. You may get Zach Britton back in September, but what is Zach Britton going to be when you get him back? I mean, who knows? Like, Zach Britton is either going to be Baltimore Zach Britton, or he's going to be, garbage fire, like dumpster fire Zach Britton, like he was before he had surgery. And Clay Holmes. Like, will the real Clay Holmes please stand up? Are you the Pittsburgh Clay Holmes? All-star Clay Holmes? Has the league figured you out, or are you about to turn a 180? Are you about to go and show who you are? So the Yankees pitching, the Yankees are hitting enough to take care of business. Granted, the other night it was a 13-inning extra inning game. They lost 1-0. That is the outlier. More often than not, the Yankees are going to hit and they're going to score runs.
But the
Clutch
problem
still
is right. But still, the whole thing is like once you get into the playoffs, you're gonna face elite pitching every day.
You are.
That can shut you down. They can be shut down, and that's what we've learned in this second half is that they're not that first half dominant team. Reality's setting in. You can't fucking bat Rizzo first. Like you can't have this top heavy lineup where all we're gonna do is blast home runs. We can't have guys playing the outfield that have never gotten a hit before in Major League Baseball. Like that shit's just not gonna fly. But right now, to me, their weakness is Garrett Cole and their bullpen. You can't trust any of that. I mean, they're fucking losing games to the Seattle Mariners for crying out loud. Now, Seattle Mariners are hot. So, they're one of the hottest teams the last 30, 40 games. I'm not throwing shade at the Mariners, but you're a team that is I don't know what you said their record before. Like they're 71 and 41 games.
Yep, they're 30. Yep, 30 games over 500. Absolutely.
And they're in a division where every team is really good, right? I mean, every team is really good.
Yeah, that's the thing. You are in a division where you have 4 teams over 500, right? The Red Sox are a lost cause this year. Like they've folded the tent. But you are really, at this point in time, you're holding off the Astros. Like, that is your job. And you need to make sure that you are not... Record. Yeah, so you need to make sure you got home field advantage and that you are not playing in that wild card round. Like, that is what Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman need to ensure. Now, they made the additions, right? They brought in Efros. They brought in Montas, who got tagged. Trevino's, been decent in his role, but... The rest of the guys they need to bring in, they haven't been doing what the Yankees, wanted them to do. Now, granted, Montas was on leave, bereavement leave, came back, changed teams. I understand that. Give him a little bit of a blow. Second go around, let the real Frankie Montas, the Oakland Frankie Montas, the guy that you traded for, needs to be there, or else it's Sonny Gray 2.0, and Yankee fans will start to be concerned. You absolutely will start to be concerned, and you have every right to be, because Oakland ain't the Bronx. We've established that. Like, we're going to talk about Joey Gallo later, because Joey Gallo always warrants mentioning. But, Arlington isn't the Bronx. Dodger Stadium isn't even the Bronx.
Dodgers undefeated with Votto.
Yeah,
with Gallo.
he's the Jimmy G of baseball. Like, all his teams do is win. Now, what he contributes to that, it remains to be seen.
Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood.
In other news, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has admitted to using the psychoactive drink ayahuasca during an off-season retreat to Peru in 2020. The NFL has said that Rodgers did not violate the terms of its drug policy. Double standard or no big deal?
It's no big deal, right? I don't even know how much I believe this story. I think sometimes he says stuff just to get the crowd going, just to get the media circling, the buzzers buzzing. I mean, as long as he didn't put any... as long as he didn't pull a Marshawn Lynch and put other people in danger, and he did this in the offseason, I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of guys are doing things they should not do in the offseason and taking things they're not supposed to take in the offseason. But no, I'm fine with him. He's a hippie.
I think the NFL really needs to take a look at its, drug policy. I do. I honestly do. Because this is a psychoactive drug. It is. It may not necessarily be a performance enhancer. It's not a steroid. It's not a drug of abuse like, say, cocaine is. But it's, it is something that you definitely need to look at and see and pay closer attention to how this substance is altering the mind and how it's affecting people, right? Because at the end of the day, it is a drug. You need to see that. Now, is it something like marijuana? Marijuana has been loosened. Like, tell that to Josh Gordon. But marijuana has been kind of, destigmatized in the NFL. But it's a clear double standard. Because he's because he's Aaron Rodgers, because he's a quarterback. Like, we're just going to sweep this under the rug because they can't afford to have Aaron Rodgers missing time for violation of its drug policy. They have a lot going on. They have a lot going on with the Deshaun Watson thing. There's a lot of egg going around for the face of the NFL and Roger Goodell. This is just one more piece that they didn't need, but they'll politely sweep it under the rug because it benefits them to do so.
I can't remember the last time I was this excited or this intrigued or interested in seeing what a team is going to look like the first 5 weeks of the season. That's the Green Bay Packers. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing how Matt LaFleur coaches this team and how this offense looks with all essentially rookie or I'd say B-level receivers. There's no Jordy Nelson out there. There's no Greg Jennings, and there's no Adams. So what's this gonna look like? Like, how are they gonna function? What's the go-to play? You're throwing back shoulder fades to Allen Lazard? Really? I don't think that's gonna be in the playbook anymore. Or is the rookie that they drafted? Is he gonna have a big year? I think his name's Watson. I'm really curious to see how this all unfolds because they're paying this man a ton of money, right? And where you're essentially saying is he's going to make everybody else on this team better. He hasn't done that the last 5 years, but this year he's going to make everybody better. I don't see it.
I mean, maybe that's the whole point. He was opening up his third eye with the ayahuasca in order to see things that weren't there. But, they believe in Christian Watson. Romeo Doubs is another player that Aaron Rodgers is particularly high on. He's making I believe the quote is he's making one wow play per practice, which is nice. Like, that's great. You're building up the confidence of this kid. But, when the lights are on brightest, is this a kid you can trust?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they're also in they're in a soft division, so
yeah.
We'll see how all that plays out. But now we go from an established quarterback to two guys still making their names. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is slinging it in training camp, impressing coaches with his accuracy. Meanwhile, Patriots quarterback Mac Jones, who did not start tonight in their first preseason game, is struggling in the absence of Josh McDaniels, who is now head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Will he have a better year? Which guy's going to have a better year when the lights are the brightest, Z?
Well, you would think with all the weapons they surrounded Tua Tagovailoa around, they surrounded around him, you would think Tua Tagovailoa would be the guy. Health is going to be the major factor for him because Tua Tagovailoa gets hurt. Like, that's what he does. Now, it's easy to shine when you're in 7-on-7 drills and you're not being hit, you're not being rushed, and you're allowed to have the play develop, right? Tyreek Hill is talking about his accuracy. Jalen Waddle, these guys are looking like studs. And apparently they were impressing as well. Tua was also impressing in the game against the Buccaneers. Now, I don't know how many of the Bucs starters were actually on the field. I don't know what they were running, but it's the first preseason game. Chances are it was not anything from the VIP section of the playbook. It was very, I'm sure it was very vanilla, and it was something that, was very safe. They're saving the good stuff for the regular season. Mac Jones, this is worrisome from an administrative standpoint, because you're listening to this, and we don't have an offensive coordinator, we don't have a defensive coordinator, we're eliminating coordinator positions this year. Joe Judge is going to call some plays, Matt Patricia is going to call some plays, Steve Belichick is going to call some plays. When did the New England Patriots become the Brooklyn Nets? That's what I want to know. Because, some nights, Matt Patricia's going to be the head coach. Sometimes, it's just Kyrie's going to coach, and KD's going to coach, and Harden's going to coach. This is not good. This is clown behavior by the Patriots. I'm surprised I'm going to say that, but dude, Bill, what are you doing? Bubby, what in the hell are you doing? Listening to reports out of camp, Tom Curran from the New York Post for NBC Sports Boston, he's describing distressingly bad play. Run stuffs, aborted plays, would-be sacks, distress lobs into traffic just to get the ball out. This is in practice. This is against, your team's defense. And I'm sure, again, it's vanilla, and I'm sure it's basic. And, if I'm Bill Belichick, I am very concerned about what I have done instead of naming a coordinator, knowing that Josh McDaniels isn't coming through that door again. I can't rely on Josh McDaniels getting fired again and having him come back home like the prodigal son. I can't have that. So I'm very concerned with what's going on around Mac Jones. So I'm picking Tua Tagovailoa by default.
Yeah, it's a tough question because, the Patriots, like you alluded to, they have a new offense.
What is it?
Yeah, and nobody seems to grasp it, even the players. And all of the offensive players are uncomfortable. They had a team meeting on the field because just people weren't picking it up. My question for Bill would be why are you trying this now? You've had success your whole career doing it one way. You've had your Charlie Weisses. You've had your Brian. You've had your You've had Josh McDaniels. You've had Bill Callahan. You've had all these guys, and now you're deciding to go to the system where everybody gets to call play. Everybody's a offensive coordinator. The Patriots have also not drafted well the last couple of years. I mean, they haven't drafted a Pro Bowl caliber player besides Mac Jones in 4 or 5 years. So I think they're gonna be in a heap of trouble. Now you look on the other side, the table does seem set for Tua to succeed, and they've given him every weapon imaginable. He's got running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. He just needs to stay healthy. And you want him to be accurate in camp. I know the pressure isn't on, but you want him to be accurate. And he shined in big light. He's shined before in big lights. I mean, he came in at halftime in the national title game, won the championship. So he definitely do it. Everyone can make those throws in practice, but can you make those throws in the games? I think he can. So I'm going with Tua as well.
Now, the other good thing is that he has a quarterback that can push him, right? Tua has a legitimate backup who's played a significant role in the NFL in Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is being pushed by Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer is very good at getting Gatorade, making sure it's the right temperature. He can carry the clipboard just so, but he is not somebody
babysitter also.
Oh, yeah, that's what I've heard. That's what he's doing. But he cannot be confused with a competent quarterback. Meanwhile, Teddy Bridgewater will get significant time this year because, like I said, Tua is down for at least one injury. He's going to miss at least 5 games, at the minimum 5 games. Teddy's going to come in. He's going to do what Teddy does. The other thing that's very big that we're kind of like soft pedaling here is that James White retired. So if you were expecting James White to come and help Mac Jones out, to be that, that passing down running back.
Yeah, I was surprised by his retiring. But,
yeah, I mean, either his injuries were that severe or he saw the writing on the wall and just like, fuck, man, we're gonna suck. I can't wait to get to Tampa Bay, so I'm just gonna get out now. So I don't know what the deal is with James White. Hopefully it is, hopefully it's just that he saw it was time. And,
all right, so let's say this. Okay, you're the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
You open up the season, you're playing the Patriots at home. Now, Patriots never play good in Miami. You get the W. We win the first game of the year.
Okay.
But then you lose to the Ravens, you lose to the Bills, and you lose to the Bengals. Do you give the 49ers a phone call and try to get Jimmy G?
I kind of figured that's where you were going with this. Well, it depends. Have the Rams beat me to it. But we're going to get to that later. But if he's still on the market and he's available, I'll kick the tires. I would kick the tires and see.
Let's say Tua gets hurt. When Tua gets hurt, I mean, your team's ready. You got 4 running backs that can run the football.
Yeah.
You got 3 really good wide receivers. You've got a tight end that's supposed to be the next big thing. You can't waste this year away.
No, you can't. And
do you bring him in now? What are you waiting for? Why wouldn't you? Right? Tua could be your guy. Doesn't mean Jimmy can't hold a clipboard down there. And like you said, you do better when someone's pushing you anyway. Teddy Bridgewater's good. He ain't Jimmy G.
That's true. Like Jimmy G is better than Teddy Bridgewater. I will give you that. If I'm the Dolphins and I feel that quarterback play is lacking and he's the reason why we are, we have to look at the results, right? If they're getting blown out, but the offense is playing catch up most of the time, and it's just the defense can't get off the field and they're getting the shit kicked out of them, maybe hang on to Tua a little bit longer and you make defensive changes. You can't really speak to that. Now, if Tua is the problem, if he is constantly turning the ball over and the offense isn't clicking and you're getting blown out because your offense isn't cutting the mustard, yeah, I would definitely give them. I would give the Niners a call and see what they offer. See what they're looking at. If they're looking at like a 6, maybe a conditional 5 or a 4 that becomes a 3. If Jimmy G plays a certain number of snaps,
now remember,
I might do that.
You've also lost your first round pick next year.
Oh, Tua can't stay.
No, I mean because of the whole scandal with the Tom Brady scandal. Like they don't have a first round pick next year.
Yeah, but
you're not going to be able to get a quarterback in the draft.
No, you're not able to do that. And realistically, you need to see what you need to see what's going to come out of the college football season and who's it going to be. I'm not 100% convinced that there's going to be a great quarterback coming down the line, and you got burned on this already. So it's one of those things that I don't know. Like if you trade for Jimmy G, I don't know necessarily if you can go to Tua again. Like I don't know how that feels, if the well is poisoned or not, because he seemed to take the Tom Brady thing in stride, but I don't know if he's going to be like, all right, that's it. Like I'm fucking done. Like this is, you believe in me or don't believe in me. Trade me the Texans if you don't believe in me, because you know what? I can start over long neck Davis Mills. We love youth sports. Not only do they get the kids out and active, but they promote teamwork, sportsmanship, friendship, and fair play. One of the Fade Route's favorite youth sport partners is Ossining AYSO Soccer. Their mission is to develop and deliver quality, player-centered youth soccer programs that promote a fun, fair, family environment where everyone is welcome and everyone plays. If you have a child between ages 4 and 18, registration for fall 2022, spring 2023 season is open. To sign up or to volunteer as a coach or referee, go to ayso201.org today. The more volunteers, the more children can enjoy the AYSO soccer experience. Go to ayso201.org today for more information or to sign up. ayso201.org. More soccer for more kids.
Well, Dolphins ownership's definitely got some decisions to make there, but Brooklyn Nets owner Joe Tsai met with Kevin Durant in London and publicly backed coach Steve Nash and GM Sean Marks after Katie apparently gave Tsai an ultimatum. This has to be the beginning of the end, right?
It should have been over by now. It should have been over by now. What are they waiting for? This is not going to have a happy ending where everybody comes together and they win one for the Gipper. Reports indicate that Kyrie Irving wanted in his contract to only play 60 games. 60 out of 82. Come on now. Like, if that is true, then no. Like, ship his ass out. And Kevin Durant, he, in his infinite wisdom, has released the two teams that he'd most like to play with. You ready for this? The Boston Celtics. Last time I saw them, they were in the NBA fucking finals. And the Philadelphia 76ers. Why in the hell would the 76ers do that, Trey? Why would they reunite Kevin Durant with James Harden? Because you're going to bankrupt that team around them. It'll be Embiid, Durant, Harden, and everybody else is going to be on Brooklyn. Because you need to balance out salary. So, this should have been over by now. I'm glad that Joe Tsai finally apparently grew a set and is backing the guy that he chose to run this team in Sean Marks, and the coach that Sean Marks has chosen to run the team in Steve Nash. However, the problem with that is that Sean Marks has already capitulated multiple times to Kevin Durant, right? Kenny Atkinson, fine coach, decent coach, not a world beater. Gotta go. KD said so. Okay. My man DeAndre Jordan, we gotta pay him. What did DeAndre Jordan do as a net? Gatsugu Katsilion. That's what he did. Ugats. That's what DeAndre Jordan did as a net. You bankrupted the team in trades. Jared Allen's gone. Spencer Dinwiddie's gone. Karis LeVert is gone. And instead, you have a group of guys that got swept out by the Boston Celtics, and Kevin Durant is playing, if you can't beat him, join him. Figure it out. Get rid of him. Figure it out. Coach Mike Westhoff, we're coming, Coach. I'm almost done with the book.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are starting to back away from Kevin Durant. The asking price was steep for the 34-year-old coming off of an Achilles injury. He wants to, he wants to play. He doesn't want to play here. He's an up and down clown. That's what it looks like to me. But I don't think it's the beginning of the end, honestly, because they don't have a choice. Like, he's gonna have to play out the rest of his career here because their asking price was so high that you're not gonna give up. You're not gonna give up your whole team just to get this guy, because guess what? Then he's gonna ask to leave. He's got a history of asking to leave places. Like, you wanted to go to the Nets, you went there. They went and got the players you wanted, the coach you wanted. They set up this situation all for you, and you just slapped them in the face. So why would any other team be interested in bringing you on when you could do the same thing to them?
What have I said? Coaches talk, GMs talk. Like, with every single week, with every single day that this passes, the value gets lower and lower and lower. And the Nets deserve every single bit of this because you had a team, you built a team, and you decided to throw it all away to go star hunting. You know who that sounds like? The New York Knicks. You made a New York Knicks move. You're supposedly better than that. Now, you have one way to fix this. You need to get rid of Kevin Durant. Now, I'm not saying you take 10 cents on the dollar, but you can find a fair trade package. I know they were asking for Tatum and Brown for Durant, but Brad Stevens is not taking that deal. Like, I know Brad Stevens is many things, but Brad Stevens is not a fool. I have two guys.
He was born on a Tuesday, but it wasn't last Tuesday.
Bingo. I have two guys, young, hungry, just about entering the prime of their careers, or I can have 34-year-old Kevin Durant, who can give me probably one chip. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. The numbers don't lie. It just doesn't work. Now, if you can get back a player and some picks, make the move, rid yourself of this headache, and while you're at it, engage multiple teams. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. You don't need to package Kyrie and Durant together. You can get back much more if you split them up. If you split them up, you can send them to two different teams. You can get different players. You can bring in some young players who maybe are change of scenery guys. You can bring in more picks. Just split them up and end this experiment once and for all.
Are you in need of air care maintenance or service? I have the company for you. Air Care Technicians. They service the Westchester and Northern Bronx area and can help you with all your heating and cooling, maintenance, and service needs. Just give them a call at 914-315-1547. Again, that's 914-315-1547. Or shoot them an email at aircaretechnicians@gmail.com. These guys are the real deal, as they are veteran-owned, licensed, and insured. Make sure to tell them that D&Z sent you.
Bullshit or no shit? We're going to debate this week's most controversial sports topics right now. All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is. We have statements, and it's either bullshit or no shit. Here we go. Bullshit or no shit number one. Matthew Stafford's elbow injury will sink the Rams.
Ouch. I say it's bullshit. I think the rest of the league is going to sink the Rams. Let's remember, for as good as they played last year, they were a play away from losing to the Bucs in the playoffs. They were a play away from losing to the 49ers in the championship game, and they almost lost. They almost lost to rookie Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl. The team's not hungry. I don't see them going far this year, so I'm going to say bullshit.
That's fair. That is fair on a semantics level. I appreciate that. I'm going to go no shit on this because it's a baseball injury from what I understand. You know, now it's being downplayed. You know, Stafford's backpedaling. Oh, it's a little sore. My elbow is just a little sore. Well, the last quarterback, I should say, to have a similar injury to this was Ben Roethlisberger, and his elbow popped mid-game, and he had to have surgery. And that's when he had to have Mason Rudolph come in, and then Myles Garrett almost beat the shit out of Mason Rudolph with his own helmet. Remember that, Steelers fans? Trip down memory lane. Now, like I said before, the Rams could be in on Jimmy G. Now, would the Niners be willing to trade within division? I don't know. And would the Rams be willing to give up a good enough haul to make it worth the while for the Niners to trade within the division? Like, I don't know that. So at that point, are you waiting on a cut of a veteran backup? Because if Stafford does get hurt and that elbow does pop, you're looking at John Wolford. John Wolford, no. He's 20, right? He's 26 years old. I understand. You know, this could be his chance to get his shot, but from what he did, what you've seen of him, it's uninspiring. And then you have Bryce Perkins and Luis Perez as your third and fourth string quarterbacks. So you're looking at that point. You're looking at a guy like Tyrod Taylor, if you can get him from the Giants. You're looking at, if the Dolphins make the move on Jimmy G before you do you go and try and get Teddy Bridgewater? Like, that would be something that interests me. This is a pass-heavy team. Yes, you have Akers. Yes, you have Henderson, but this team still runs on the arm of Matthew Stafford and that defense. And if Stafford goes away, Kupp goes away, Robinson goes away, Jefferson goes away, and Higbee goes away. So I'm going no shit on this. Like, they need Matthew Stafford to be healthy, and I can't believe I'm saying that because I'm not the biggest Matthew Stafford fan in the world. Bullshit or no shit, number 2. Chris Sale is done as a frontline starter.
This guy's a clown. Evidently he was riding a bike and he hit something going downhill, fell off the bike and fractured his wrist. This all coming when he was supposed to come back and play this week. Listen, he's 33 years old. And we see guys like Verlander, Scherzer doing it at 38, 39, 40. And they're older than him. I think he'll come back, and so I'm going to say bullshit.
I'm going no shit on this. Now, it's been a while. Chris Sale signed a very lucrative 5-year contract. And he's a free agent to be in 2025. They've gotten no return on this investment whatsoever. This year, he's pitched 5 2/3 innings. It doesn't matter what they put around him. It doesn't matter. Go back to last year, 2021. He pitched 42 2/3. This is not the horse that they got from the White Sox. That's not the guy. And he's going to be a year older when he gets back. He's not going to be that front top of the rotation starter that teams fear. He's not going to be Scherzer. He's not going to be DeGrom. He's not even going to be Justin Verlander. Chris Sale's been done for a while. He's the last person to know, unfortunately. So if I'm the Red Sox, I'm figuring out what the hell are you doing? You have that fractured finger. You took that off the line. You took a line drive off your finger. Fine, whatever. What are you doing? You're supposed to be coming back this year. Do the smart thing. Stop. Don't do things that you could possibly injure yourself. Like, there are reasons. There's a reason why there are clauses in contracts. Just take it easy and just do the rehab. Just do the necessary rehab. That's all you needed to do. You had one job. And you royally fucked that up. And we're paying you $145 million to do what? Not play? No, absolutely not. The Red Sox may try and get it out from under this contract. I don't know who would be crazy enough to take him, but they would have to do a Josh Beckett, Mike Lowell deal. Like, they're going to have, if they are going to trade Chris Sale, they're either going to have to eat a shit ton of money or they're gonna have to figure something out. But Chris Sale is done. He cannot. He just can't be trusted. And from a health standpoint, this man is fragile. This man is just fragile. He needs to get a bone density scan or have some extra calcium supplements or something. Because I don't get it. I just that's a medical marvel in and of itself. Bullshit or no shit. Number 3. Edwin Diaz is a candidate for the NL Cy Young Award.
I think you're stretching it a little bit. Diaz coming out to the instrumental horn of electric is a joke. It's hilarious. To me, it's Scherzer in the National League, right? I mean, he's got a 1.98 ERA. He's 8-2 with 120 strikeouts. So I'm going to say bullshit.
I'm going to say no shit as a candidate. As a candidate. Now, as a candidate, that doesn't mean I'm saying that he's going to win it. Now, in 15 games start, right? Scherzer, 95 2/3 innings, 120 strikeouts, 1.98 ERA. Perfect. Cool. That's a fine candidacy.
Solid.
Now, solid. Carlos Carrasco, also of the Mets, 13-4, 3.76, 22 starts, 124 1/3 innings, 123 strikeouts. Solid. Edwin Diaz in 45 1/3 innings, 91 strikeouts. and only 26 saves. Like, I understand that. But now he's going in and he's doing multiple inning saves. So that's where that innings pitched comes to be. Now, we have not had a relief pitcher since Eric Gagne take home the Cy Young. Eric Gagne had a mega season that year, and we found out why. But, I mean, Diaz is fine as a candidate, but you have other guys out there too. You have Tyler Anderson of the Dodgers, 13-1 with a 2.72. You have Sandy Alcantara. He's cooled off. He's 10-5 with a 2.01. But I can interest you in that ERA, right? 145 Ks and 166 innings pitched. Even your boy Kyle Wright leads the National League in wins, 14-5. 129 strikeouts and 134 and 2/3 innings. Solid. You have plenty of options. You have absolutely plenty of options. And why not throw Edwin Diaz in? He's having a great season, and he should be rewarded with, for at least a nomination. And I was having an argument because I went to the Met game. I went to the first Mets Braves game on Thursday night, and I had a fan saying to me, you probably wanted Diaz traded before this season. Yeah. Why? Because he did not give you this. This is what the expectation was. So of course he wasn't cutting the mustard. Now you look at it, he's actually living up to the potential that he was supposed to when the Mets acquired him. And I think you need to reward him for that. Now, I wouldn't go as far as to say he's the best closer in the league. That's a cyclical stat, right? That's a cyclical designation. Josh Hader's had that. Kenley Jansen has been that. It's just Edwin Diaz's turn. And I'm not, I'm a realistic Met fan, and I can admit that. But for this year, for what he has done, Edwin Diaz deserves at least a shout-out and a nomination. For all the grill masters, green thumbers, home repair heroes, and DIY aficionados in the Richmond, Virginia area, if you're looking for a personal service, quality products, and a convenient shopping experience, look no further than Thacker Ace Hardware in Colonial Heights, Virginia. Owner Don Rackley and his team of local experts have everything you need to tackle all of your home projects. I'm talking paints by Benjamin Moore and Clark in Kensington, power tools by Craftsman and Milwaukee, electrical, plumbing, hardware, and let's not miss the grills. Weber, Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blackstone, top shelf, amazing. And for all you green thumbers, their nursery department is fantastic. Give them a call today, 804-766-4223, or stop by 27 Dunlop Village in Colonial Heights. That's 804-766-4223, or swing by 27 Dunlop Village in Colonial Heights. Thacker Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks. The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award. All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It is time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. You know how it goes. We put a poll up after our show at the Fade Route DNZ on Twitter. You go and you vote, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner gets the coveted ass trophy and a shout out on this here show. And do you know who took home the ass last week, D?
I don't.
Jerry Jones.
That guy.
Good job, Jerry. We knew you had it in you, but that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for the Alleged Superstar of the Week award, D?
All right, first up, I got the front office of the New York Jets. You moved the 2020 number 11 pick in the draft from left tackle to right tackle, talking about Mekhi Becton, after he comes into camp overweight and then he's recovering from season-ending injury from the previous year. Now you move him over, and what happens in the first day of camp? He fractures his kneecap. I feel bad for the guy, but this is on the New York Jets. New York Jets front office, you are the alleged superstars of the week. Number 2, Spencer Strider. After being chased by the Mets, you go 2 2/3 of an inning. You allow 4 runs and 79 pitches. You attributed the loss to the Mets having luck. Spencer called the hits weird. That is happening. That these hits are happening in August, but they won't happen in October. Dude, come on, man. Be gracious, loser. Don't say the only way you can get beat by the Mets is by luck. Spencer Strider, you are an alleged superstar of the week. And last and certainly least, Antonio Brown. Back in the news. The man has quite a few questionable moments in his life, leaving in the middle of the Jets game, FaceTiming in the Steelers locker room after a Steeler game, or, getting signed by the Raiders and coming to camp with freezer burn on your feet. Despite all that, the former wide receiver claims the biggest regret was his inability to see himself play. Quote, I sure could watch myself, I could watch myself on film after a game, but I can't imagine what it was like for you all to see something like that live. Must be like watching the Beatles or Jesus perform on Red Rocks. What? Antonio Brown, you are my alleged superstar of the week. What do you got, Z?
The Antonio Brown thing is just so wacky, man. Like
the Beatles or Jesus Christ.
I'm not making light of this.
Somebody drug test this man.
Something is up with Antonio Brown, man. I don't know, if it's the effect of concussions. I don't know what's going on, but seriously, Antonio, if you are listening, it's concerning. It's concerning. I'm not bullshitting you right now. I'm not that's some of these statements and some of these actions are concerning. But we're going to continue on with this. And for me, we have a late entrant, Marshawn Lynch, allegedly stealing a car, being drunk, then stealing a car, then getting pulled over. 2 of the tires are missing, including the front driver's side tire, which I don't even know how the hell you did that, but that's impressive. It's that's like eating the whole wheel of cheese and pooping in the refrigerator. But being dragged out of the car in Vegas, it's just a bad look. It's just a bad look, Marshawn. Marshawn Lynch, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Joey Gallo, for trashing Yankee fans. I mean, Joey, what are you doing?
Joey Gallo is so pitiful.
How pitiful is he?
That it's not even fun making fun of him anymore.
See, I disagree with BT. I think that it is very fun to make fun of Joey Gallo. Now, in his comments, Gallo said, it's been a while since I've heard people chanting for me, so I'm pretty excited about that. They've been awesome so far, just cheering me on, saying they love that I'm here, and it makes me feel good. And we've been working on a lot of stuff. We've definitely been working a lot. I think one of the reasons they brought me over is because they saw something they felt they could fix and help me be a better player, blah, blah, blah. Now, having gone to a game, having seen Joey Gallo in Yankee pinstripes and see him actively troll little kids in between innings with the ball, you have no fan in me, Mr. Gallo. The reason why you're not in the Bronx right now is because you couldn't hack it. So let's be real here. Joey Gallo, you are a alleged superstar of the week. Rodolfo Castro. Ooh. The Pittsburgh Pirates player, utility player, got called back up. It's very excited. It's a big day. I'm back in the bigs. I'm going to play. I got a hit. Holy shit, this is great. I'm going to slide head first into third base. I forgot to take my phone out of my back pocket, and it fell out of my pocket. Now my phone is on the field. What? Rodolfo Castro, leave your personal belongings in the dugout. Have we not learned anything from Wander Franco? Leave that shit someplace else. Rodolfo Castro, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And Chris Sale. Chris Sale, come on now. You're already out injured. you have a broken wrist in the bike accident, you're out for the remainder of the season, you're making so much money. And this is how you choose to act. And we didn't even cover when you went off in the Worcester dugout, in the Worcester clubhouse, and trashed it over a bad rehab start. Chris Sale, you got some thinking to do. You got to start thinking about your future, because I don't think it's in the major leagues. Chris Sale, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we've said our piece on this. Go to the Fade Route DNZ Twitter page and vote, and vote, and vote, and vote. And for the winners, and for the nominees. Just do better, boys. Just do better. Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade Store with DNZ.com today for all your Fade Route merch needs. I'm talking tank tops, t-shirts, sweatshirts, like yoga pants, we got those too. Like some cool accessories, we got those too. And we're not done yet. We have so much more planned for you, but check out what we have today at the Fade Store with DNZ.com. That's the Fade Store with DNZ.com. Order up! Continuing on with our NFL preview, it is time for us to order up.
Order up, order up!
This week, we are ordering up the NFC North. From 4 to 1. Who you got, D?
All right, starting with the Bears, the Chicago Bears, the monsters of the Midway, more like the kittens of the Midway. They've got nobody to throw the ball to. They're about to lose Roquan Smith. He wants out because he's not getting the contract he wants. And I do not believe in their offensive scheme. So I got the Bears sitting at 4. Number 3, the Detroit Lions. I think they finish above 500 and they have glimpses of greatness, but you know, they can't keep it together for the whole season. So I'm going with Detroit Lions at number 3. Number 2, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. I think they struggle with their identity offensively, but they come together strong late. I think their rookie wide receiver turns out to be a stud. And they'll make the playoffs. And number 1, you might laugh at me, but I think it's the Minnesota Vikings. I think this is their year. Similar to the Falcons from a few years ago, I think Cousins has an MVP season. Jefferson and Thielen play off each other. Cook goes for over 1,000 yards. Irv Smith Jr. is back, comes back strong. Hunter and Smith stay healthy, and their defense ranks in the top 10. What do you got, Z?
Well, we have some agreement on the bottom of the division. We'll put it that way. The Chicago Bears are awful. Awful, 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 awful. Justin Fields, I can't tell you if he's good or not, but I can tell you who's not good. Trevor Siemian and Nathan Peterman. If Justin Fields goes down for an extended period of time, you have Trevor Siemian and the Peterman. The Peterman throwing to Darnell Mooney, Byron Pringle, Velus Jones Jr., and N'Keal Harry whenever he comes back because he had foot surgery. You know, N'Keal Harry has just been a bust of a bust. When you're looking at Kmet and Ryan Griffin are your best options, you're going to have a very long season. And I understand where Roquan Smith is coming from, that he wants to be traded, but you're still in a position to make this team better. Eddie Jackson, another great player on this team, like he's still in a position to make things better. It's just not great on the offensive side. And Eberflus, I don't know how he is the head coach, but we're certainly going to find out. Number 3, the Detroit Lions. You know, they have a running game with DeAndre Swift. They have a competent quarterback in Jared Goff. Wideouts, they believe in Jamison Williams. They think he's going to be really special. They have Hawkinson as their tight end. They've got some players. They definitely have some players. They have another year under Dan Campbell. Can this defense be better now that you have Aiden Hutchinson into the fold? And, we'll see. We will definitely see. But the one thing the Lions have going for them, they're not the Bears. Number 2, I'm going with the Vikings. And here's why. You have Kurt, regression to the mean Cousins. The only thing that's going to save him from being 500 this year is that he mathematically can't go 500 this year. So kudos to you, Kirk. Dalvin Cook, great running back. Can he stay healthy? Can he do it? Chris Johnson, CJ2K, came out and said, there are 2 guys that he can see rushing for 2,000 yards. He said Dalvin Cook is one of them. I agree. Dalvin Cook never spends a full season on the football field. Madison's good, not as good as Cook. And with Cousins, yeah, you got Jefferson. Yeah, you got Thielen. Irv Smith Jr. is solid. The quarterback is still the problem. I get Mike Zimmer didn't like him, and there's a lot not to like about Kirk Cousins. Second place all the way. And for me, number 1, the Green Bay Packers. I've said it before, their not so great is better than a lot of people's best. And Aaron Rodgers, we know what he likes to do. Aaron Rodgers is kind of a prick. He's gonna sling it, and he's gonna have an MVP caliber season on spite alone. Never mind Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, solid running game. You know what I've said multiple times about wideout. They need one more guy. Odell Beckham Jr., I'm looking at you. If Tunyon can come back, great. If not, Mercedes Lewis is there. Great pass it. He'll catch some touchdown passes. But ultimately, this is Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, and they're going to take home another division title. Won't translate to postseason success, but they'll be there.
This has been the Fade Route with D&Z. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Catch our podcast Wednesday nights on Anchor, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Until next time, stay faded, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route, but we'll talk to you next week.
Want to get on the action? We want to hear from you. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com. Slide in our DMs on IG @FadeRoutePodcast. Drop us a DM on Twitter @FadeRouteDNZ. Comment on our YouTube channel, The Fade Route with DNZ. Questions, comments, picks, segment suggestions, you name it, we want to hear from you. Get at us, in crowd. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.